Zalbar leveled up! All it required was his character arc to happen. A leader of his people, except not, because he has to come with me and be my party member for the rest of the game. But it definitely feels like the game is priming for him to become the new leader of at least his tribe on Kashyyyk. I don't know how many tribes there are on Kashyyyk, Kashyyyk. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. What? He has 2 levels? But... oh, right, he sat out this entire planet, ironically enough. It's the planet dedicated to his people, but you actually don't get to use him for most of it. Because he gets kidnapped. And like, he almost got, like, politically radicalized into thinking that slavery is good? Or something? Like, weird fucking take. Like, I know there was the one weirdo in the comments that's like, you can't judge Star Wars for having slavery, it's totally fine, and you can't, it's not a bad thing at all. I'm like, it's clearly a bad thing. Like, the people doing it are evil and aligned with the Sith, and you get dark side points for helping them, and the Wookiees are like, this is ruining our planet. In fact, that's all that Zalbar will talk to you about, until you get here at least. All he ever talks about is how, like, his people are being enslaved and he has to get back to his home planet and so on and so forth. Like, it's like the thing. Like, it's clearly bad. They're not volunteering or anything. There's just one horrible person leading the whole thing that's, like, causing it to happen. Like, not single-handedly causing it to happen, but he's, like, working with them to do it because it gives him a position of power. Because on one side, him trading his own people as slaves profits him directly with Zerkakor, but also he can then piggyback on the fear of Zerkakor to additionally, like, levy up fear of the outsiders in order to get more political clout. So so he's a fascist. That's what fascism is. That's doing a fascism. That's definitely all the elements of, like, using the fear of outsiders to rally your political creed, your cred, and so on. He's a horrible person, and so I'm like, I mean, in general, Kashyyyk was not a great planet. It was the entire thing's over in like a couple hours, and there's just a lack of nuance on many of the details of how you interact with things, and it's just kind of like a bummer. But I think one of the biggest bummers of the entire planet might be the fact that, like, fucking Zalbar just has this throwaway line where he's, like, indecisive. And it's because you're supposed to be able to, you as the player, they want to give you, the player, the power to, like, choose who to side with and make it vaguely credible that Zalbar would go with you with whoever you choose. And so you choose to give, to put his brother or his father in power. And so to like give that cred, they have this really throwaway line about Zalbar saying, like, I don't know, I've been talking to him this whole time and he's starting to make sense. Like, he's getting radicalized into believing this guy's bullshit, but it's completely unearned and completely unelaborated on. Like, they give you nothing with which to believe anything he just said, so it's, like, incredibly iffy overall. That's where we is. Let's max out. There we go. Power strike. Then you level up, and you level up, and you level... How? Level 14. We're getting up there. If I could max out Flurry, which would really help with my hit chances. I lose 1 penalty to my defense and attack. This gives me an attack all the time, and plus 2 damage. I'm a little torn. This giving me more defense would not hurt. What else can I upgrade? Just that one. Hey, Karth. Attribute point. Strength. Dexterity. Haha. Big. That's a milestone for you. Yeah, Karth is the one that has a dearth of things to put points into. He already has maxed out his armor and his 2-weapon fighting, and his primary attack, and his implants, and his gun choice. I can give him health, I guess. Like, even his implant thing is maxed out. I think it's because he's I think as a soldier he just gets points constantly. A +1 to all saving throws is such a small bonus. It definitely sounds like kind of a bummer. I feel like health probably will help more than that, especially the next point where it subtracts points from all damage suffered. And he's only level 12. Like, he's only halfway through the process and he's already like so low on things to buy with his points. But yeah, soldiers are... Yeah, I'm level 14, level 12, level 11. Wow. There are gaps between our characters now. That's another thing I'm not used to necessarily. So Zalbar, you want to talk about how you were almost cool with your people being talked into slavery, sold into slavery? You were you know, you were in his captivity for like 2 hours, but sure. I saw a strange computer in the Shadowlands. It's older than the forest. It created the trees. Why would it matter, I wonder? I guess it would help if I knew anything about the Wookiees' traditions or culture and or religion. Like, the idea that the entire forest was created by a computer over there, without any other cultural context, you'd be like, oh, what a earth-shattering, radical, cool scientific discovery, but not so much like something that like shatters our society or anything. It's just like, whoa, cool, mostly. I encountered some Mandalorian hunters in the Shadowlands. I want to ask about the reward you gave. I should be going. Just the specific, like... We already know they're only using a handful of samples, but having it loop and say the same thing to each other, basically, but different things is funny. I don't know, maybe they are just saying the exact same words, technically, to each other, and you just extrapolate outward from there. Baka's Ceremonial Blade. We also got a new bolt caster, but nobody here would necessarily use it. Let's see. New? Anything stand out here? Chundar's bowcaster we got a second ago. It has an expanded crit threat and an attack modifier of +2 and a bonus damage of 4. Like, that's all pretty good. That's not bad for a two-handed weapon. I'm always happy to see an expanded crit threat, because it means that you can get better bonuses from people like Mission. But I think Mission's using Zalbar's bolt caster, and I think that one might already have a better extended threat. I'd have to see. Sure. Anyway, on to other places. Mostly. Well, we're not done here. Right. but I don't know how to leave that well, so... Just gonna teleport back to the Ebon Hawk. Wait. Never mind, we're gonna teleport back. Just kidding. I'm just thinking about my side quests. It's easy to... I don't know what I just lost. What did that mean? I'm just gonna go to Warwolf's house. I don't know what item I just lost. It just said I lost an item. When I traveled? But yeah, it's easy to forget about the side quests because they were so incidental. But I do have updates. I'm Varlo Thule. I helped Freya return to power. I'm a friend. Do you know whose bolt casing this is? The bolt casing was found on Roar's body. Roar was dealing with slavers. Do you know anything about this? What do you have to say about it? Very well, I will speak with you, Jarok. Goodbye, Warwill. I know that you had a reason to kill Rorwar. He's saying to go to the holder of laws. So the guy right next to him was the one that killed the person that was missing this whole time, and he always knew, so it was always a pointless errand. It was a weird choice to kill him with a bolt that is identifiable back to him. Strange approach to have like hyper-identifiable murder weapons and then also engage in murder. But I guess it might have been a crime of passion when you find out about it happening. So it might have not been very thought out in the first place. Do you know who owns this bolt casing? I found Jarok's bolt casing in Rorwar's corpse. This outsider will be given your possessions? Why? Yeah, wait, if he's executed, I get paid? Is there no alternative to death as punishment? Jarok, won't you say anything in your own defense? Wait, go back to the part where I get paid if he's guilty. He's not wrong to fix it on that. That's a really strange detail. Well, that's probably you being in a smuggler scumlord mode where you're like, haha, money. Jock, I won't let you do this. War was dealing with slavers. No, I won't let this happen. It's literally how the leadership just happened, where our leader was a slaver because, or like their leader was a slaver because they turned a blind eye to this stuff. War was dealing with slavers. The datapad I found on his corpse proves it. They're not gonna be happy with me. My reward? What reward? Can I ask you if anything is happening now? Goodbye to you. You get paid. Not very much either. He's very wealthy, so you get 1/3 of his wealth, which is 400 credits. Actually, not much at all. Although it's adventurer logic. Like in universe, it's probably a lot of money, but in gameplay, you're like, eh, because adventurers hit. I mean, an RPG protagonist distressingly kills like a few hundred sentient creatures over the course of a playthrough, which, as you might imagine, amasses a lot of wealth. Which is distressing in its own ways. Hi, I'm following up, even though this can't go well. What? He just thanked me? Rock thanked me. That's confusing. You'd think he'd be really mad at me. And the other guy says, like, I'm the hero he thought was. Roar. These are difficult names. Every time I go through town, I see the name of, like, the town when I go through the door, and it's just like a mess. And I'm like, I'll call this Steve. The town of Steve. I don't have to call it anything, I'm not coming back. I think. Oh wait, I need to review... Okay, we'll deal with this situation first, but I need to review what Mission's brother wanted? I feel like it never came up. What? Someone sounds combat-y over here. Oh shit! Yeah! Get him! Yeah. Unexpected a little bit, but yeah. This is what would be happening.
Yes, what's on your mind? You got it.
What happened to the spaceport people, though? Like that one merchant, his poor... I don't know how... I got the poor, like, indentured servant that he had. I'm like, what's up with him? Is he okay? Dude, they're getting taken out. I think that quest might be over. Dude. Well, that's a bit cathartic. Am I approaching this entire scenario from the wrong direction? Was I supposed to be coming from the other direction this whole time? I'm not totally sure. I keep thinking that I see their leader. Hey, the guy's not in the cage anymore. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be solving that scenario. Like where I found out what happened to that guy's friends. I think that's what happened earlier. And they turned off fast travel, so I don't think I was necessarily even able to get back here to tell them. I wonder if solving that side quest is mutually exclusive to the process of doing this. Deliberation. I guess the guy who left the planet was the lucky one. Why is the... Oh, I think that was the Wookiee's body from the beginning. I was like, why is there just a backpack hanging out over here? Enabling maximum blur. I do have a reason to come back through here. There was this one computer terminal that I think sells weapons or something. And I think I have the ID now to get into it. 10 spikes. Shit. Rock Village. That's where the Shadowlands basket was. I guess it's fastest to go to the village from here, I guess. So what I should do is go to the village, warp to the Ebon Hawk, put T3M4 on the party, warp back, then check out the terminal, and see if it does what I think it does. Oh yeah, VIP. That door doesn't look like it has space to open the way that it's supposed to. Well, it's unfortunate they're going to be hateful towards outsiders as a result of all this, but it's just a very understandable outcome. Because they probably should be mad. Bring the computer people. I don't think those are exactly the computer people, but you know what I mean. But yeah, there was a guy who was being like held as an indentured servant by some merchant, which weren't. I don't think either of them, or at least not the guy being held, was. I don't think he was a member of Zerka. So I would have liked to clear his name and let him leave, but I think they might be dead, or they ran. I mean, I didn't see them I didn't see their bodies or anything, so I might choose to believe they ran. Except they, logistically, I don't see how they could leave the planet, because I was on the... Once again, we keep having these docks that are owned by Zerka, where they just have room for one ship, and that seemingly is the only dock. So while I'm here, it seems to be occupied. Which means nobody else could leave, necessarily. Which is unfortunate. So you got points in repair. It's too bad he can't repair himself. He's a very dark side droid. AT3. I see you have intelligence, but what if you had more intelligence? You are just a skill bot to me. That is definitely his job as a party member. I think the droids are usually really bad at combat. And they're not, and well HK-47 is great for dialogue, T3M4 is not. Makes you even better at your skills. So this is probably the extent of what we'll see T3M4 do in this playthrough, is I'll break him out whenever I want a computer to get hacked. And it's a particularly accessible computer that's not a huge pain in the ass to bring him to, like, it's not in the middle of a dungeon. And this skill just gives him even more points in the things I'm putting him into. So this should practically be free, right? 4 spikes. Alright. Wait.
Sure.
Motherfucker, that's what that was? Did I just hack this computer to open this container that I already busted open with my weapons? Oh boy. Well. Fuck me, I guess. I thought it was a terminal that sold things to you. And you had to get, like, access via, like, a card. Whoa, I've gotten very light side. It's getting blinding. I really wish that these were better. There definitely should be better options here. Jedi characters will use force powers until they run out of force points. And then they will do a default attack. It definitely, if I have like Jolie in the party, it makes sense supposedly to have him do that. Although, I don't know if I want him to spam that hard, because then he'll be completely out of force points, and then the fight, I'll just be sitting there looking at how he has no force points. I'm gonna apply some game logic here and see if it changed anything, because the Wookiee uprising happened. Okay, now they're gone. Because I was thinking the Wookiee uprising already happened. I should double check to see if these guys are just kind of came back after that scene's over. But no. Yeah, it largely makes sense for them to not be here. Whoops. But ultimately, nobody should have been here. You are not welcome on this planet. There are so many other planets to go to. Well, we've been to 2 planets now where there's a heavy colonialism happening, and one time the indigenous people won instead of the other time where they didn't, and things are a bummer. Griff wants you to bring him a tack gland. Oh, I do have a tack gland, don't I? Quest items? Bantha fodder? Attack land. Okay, so I already have what he wants. Let's check around with the people then. We did a whole planet.
Hey there, what can I do for you?
I want to talk to you about your brother.
Maybe if we get these tack glands for him, things will work out.
Yeah, still on the same level. Let's deal with that real quick. Went in the exact opposite direction. Oh yeah, you. Have anything more to say about yourself, Zalbar? Why did you request to take Baka's sword? I'm sorry we can't stay on Kashyyyk longer. I wish you well. Let's get going. Have anything more to say about yourself, Zalbar? Nope, it's just looping. Then there's this one. I wonder if you could help me with a problem. It still doesn't say a ton. Oop, camera. Did a little freak out for a sec. Back to Tatooine.
Calo Nord is dead, Lord Malak. He has failed in his mission. Forgive me.
The penalty for failure is death, Admiral Kareth. But the failure was Calo's, not yours. You may rise.
Shall I hire another bounty hunter, Lord Malak?
No mere bounty hunter can stand against a Jedi. I shall not make the same mistake again. My apprentice, Darth Bandon, shall take care of our young Jedi friend.
But why?
Find Bastila and bring her to me, alive, if possible.
As you command, Master.
Just why? Why? Hey, Jolie. Why? I get they're doing the trope of like bad guy kills other lackey in order to establish how much of a bad guy he is. But like he didn't even Usually it's like, you have failed me for the last time. But here it was just like, he's standing there, die. It's like, how do you maintain like an order where people like believe in you and obey you and think that like this is the government we should be in, we shouldn't just like switch the rebellion? It's like, it's one thing to have the guy that murders people for failing, which is pretty rough, but it's like a whole other layer when you get murdered for existing in a room. And that's like the bridge crew. Aren't they kind of important? I feel like the bridge crew is kind of important and not the top people that you just casually murder at random. It's like, oh, that guy, oh, you got Jason. He's the only one that knows how to do that. Shit. No, I'm not gonna know what to put points in here. Yep, they're all met now. They're all 14. Next level's gonna be a little more confusing. Sneak attack is even. Oh my god, she has sneak attack 6. 6 to 36 bonus damage on top of her actual attack rolls is some intense, scary stuff. She has a point into dueling, but it just doesn't necessarily do anything right now. Yeah, her crit is maxed out. Plus one of the blaster rifles. This is a blaster rifle. Zalbar's bowcaster. It's not amazing. Oh, but that crit threat range is really good. 17 to 20 times 3. Huh. 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, that's 4. Jesus. She has, that gives her a more than 50% chance of critting. Like, that's... I think that outdoes anything else. It also has a better attack modifier than the other weapon does. I think it's because it's already been upgraded, though. But yeah, you lose out on the +4 damage, though. It's 3 to 12. Yeah, this one has +4 physical damage, but it doesn't have that amazing crit threat range. But maybe it can after upgrades. I should check later. Get those strength gauntlets on. You have very little chances for equipment, and that is one of them. She still doesn't have an implant slot.
You're back! I knew you'd come through for me. I knew I could count on you. You do have a tech land for me, right?
Here's the tack gland. Take it.
Come to Papa, you sweet simian organ. It may not look like much, but once I turn this into a bottle of Torresian ale, it'll end up being worth a fortune. Thanks, Mission. You won't regret helping me out with this.
Please, Griff, let this be the last time. No more cons, no more scams, no more schemes. That's all I ask.
Hey, sis, no need to worry about that. I've turned over a new leaf. From now on, I'm gonna stay out of trouble and do things right. And once we've cornered the market on Torresian ale, good things will be heading my way. Then I'll make it up to your Mission. Just wait, you'll see. You know, once we synthesize this and start brewing Torresian ale in mass quantities, we're gonna be looking for some investors. You give me a couple of 100 credits, and I can get you in on the ground floor. You'll get a return of, oh, at least 20 times your investment.
You already promised me a few thousand credits.
Hey, don't worry. You'll get your credits as soon as we start mass producing that Torresian ale. I just wanted to know if you were interested in an even bigger payoff.
Okay, here's 200 credits.
Wise move. I can see you really understand how business works. Now, when you see your chance, you jump at it, huh? That's my motto. I better get started on brewing that ale. Meet me back here later, and I'll have a down payment on what I owe you.
No, he won't. No, he won't. No, he won't. I look at this guy and I'm like, how did Mission ever believe in him? And I think, wow, he must have abandoned her young. I don't know if they said how long ago it was, but it feels like it must have been a while. Meet him later. When's later? Immediately?
Hey there, what can I do for you?
I want to talk about your brother.
I appreciate everything you've done for Griff. You know that, right? I just hope things work out for him this time around. I guess we'll find out when he meets up with us at the Zerka Corp shop. If he's got those credits he promised you, then maybe there's hope for him yet.
Maybe I'll just go back in. There's always a question of like, what does time passing mean in a game like this? Do you think you can walk past me? Griff? 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 Where are you going, Griff? Griff? For a minute there, I thought there might be like a loop where he keeps coming and going over and over again. Oops. I guess you probably leave the planet or something? How you doing, Canderous?
Yeah, what do you want?
Any more war stories?
I don't have as many strange stories like the last one I told you, but I do have a couple about me and the stuff I've done. In one battle above the world of Althir, my unit managed to defeat a force of Althiri 10 times our own size. That battle gained me command of an entire subsect of my clan.
Tell me.
For 5 days, they had managed to hold off our forces, keeping us to the outer rings of their world, preventing us from attacking it directly. My task was to assault one of their flanks with a false attack. The Althiri would be drawn out by the units I had sent in. Once they had surrounded those units, the bulk of my forces would attack from the rear and defeat them in detail.
Ah. Did it work?
Things didn't go as I had planned. I saw an opening, a mistake they had made in the disposition of their forces, and took it. While fending off our main force, they had let their fleet split in two. The center of their entire fleet was left exposed. I turned my forces and assaulted the center of their fleet, decimating them.
What did they do?
Their slow, ponderous ship could not turn to face us without being overwhelmed. The command vessels were destroyed in seconds. Their ranks were thrown into chaos. It was amusing to watch the surviving ships scatter and flee. Several even tried to dive through the plane of the rings to escape us. They were shredded by the rings, or crashed into rocks, or were destroyed by our forces as we pursued them. Warriors do not flee from a battle if they are losing. They fight to the end, as we did against your Jedi Revan. Another time, maybe, I'll tell you about how the war with the Republic went. For now, let's just get on with things. Is there something else you want to know? Your choice. I'm here if you want something done right.
True warriors never flee battle? Ever? So you're telling me 100% of Mandalorians who are currently alive have never lost a battle? Ever? Seems like a poor strategy. 1 to 6 and +1. Critical threat range ×2. Ooh. That is appealing. But how does that pay off against 1 to 6 damage? Definitely be a bit more appealing if I had crit attack instead of flurry. But right now I have 2 crit. Lightsabers already have a bonus to crit. Like that makes me have a crit chance of like 1 in 5. Huh. I'm not sure that necessarily amounts to as much as I might hope it would be. Whoa. Critical threat plus 2 to 12. I mean, if that's in this weapon, then the other one should probably be the one that increases its crit threat range. Because it further increases the bonus damage for when it crits. So many lightsabers. You quickly run out of crystals. Baka's ceremonial blade. 2d6 added to crits and plus 2 attack and damage. God damn. Enjoy. Ah! Zalbars can be upgraded and the other guys can't. So Chundar can't grow, and Zalbar can. Seems to be an implication here.
Statement. HK-47 is ready to serve, Master. As you desire, Master. Signing off.
Damn. Is that the case? Do I only get to have HK-47 dialogue, basically, if I take him with me at all times, and have incidental dialogue about things that are happening? Because he's a neat character. He's fun. But I think that if you don't have repair skill in your character, you're straight up locked out of talking to him about anything beyond just his remarks about being, like, grossed out that you're being all goody-goody and shit. That is a bummer.
Hey there, Wookie. I appreciate I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that hasn't changed at all. I don't know when I should expect to go back to Griff. Exactly.
Yes. What is it?
Is something wrong?
I was remembering Taris.
I'm sorry, Juhani.
No, it's all right. I think I am over the worst of it. I apologize again for lashing out at you. It was not your fault. It was a horrible place to have to live. At least in the lower cities where the non-humans tended to get relegated. Living for years in a place with no sun, living off the trash dropped from the upper levels, and a meager pay doing back-breaking labor.
And those rat ghouls.
There was always the danger of rat-ghouls coming up from the sewers, or more mundane predators living and working in the area. My family and I struggled each and every day to make something of our lives. But we could only go so far. Taxes from the corrupt government, more fees from the gangs controlling the streets, and whatever was left paying for what food and medical supplies we could afford.
How could such a government last?
It did not. But only because of the Jedi who came. It was very bad. With no money to spare for any amenities, even the Enclave on Tatooine seems a paradise in comparison. And of course, there was the constant bigotry and hate from the more affluent and human citizens, lording their wealth over us living below. Every once in a while, a rich human would come down through the lower levels with his droid entourage just to see how the wildlife lived, and laughed at the mockeries that were our successes. But I have come to meet many decent humans in my travels since those days. Indeed, some of the greatest people I have ever met are human.
Decent humans are hard to find.
I have noticed that. But the Jedi Order seems to have collected a fair number. The Jedi who encouraged me to join the Order. The one who was with the group going to fight the Mandalorians. She was human. I am sorry. I am getting away from my point. If there even was one. Sometimes I curse the day my parents fled to Taris. But then again, if they had not, I would not be where I am today.
Your parents?
Another story for another time. For now, we must continue our own epic. To save the galaxy, if we can. How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan? Of course.
Some kind of double-click moment happened there. You don't expect the people you meet on Tatooine to also be from Taris. A number of people are in this party because their home was destroyed, and it was the same home.
Yes, what's on your mind?
Nothing.
You got it.
I guess he was just in my party.
How can I help?
You're curious about something.
Am I so transparent? I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, considering our bond. Yes, there is something I would like to ask, if you'll permit it.
Go ahead.
In our time together, I've been watching you. You are a true servant of the light. You follow the tenets of the Jedi Order despite the lure of the dark side. And with so little training, for me it has always been a constant battle. Don't you find it difficult at all? You make it seem so easy. Or is that only an illusion?
It is kind of an illusion. It's the illusion of choice in the form of RPG mechanics. Woo! Maybe she has more nuanced and complicated dialogue choices to pick from in her perspective. Because mine are like, do you want to help the baby or eat the baby? I'm like, huh. Alright. I just do what I think is right.
And that's enough for you. If only it were as easy for me. If only the right path was always clear. I've always struggled for control over my passions. I've always been too quick to anger, too quick to get involved. My instructors constantly berated me for it. I've often dreamed that I might be able to confront Darth Malak myself. I dream I can use all this power I have to kill him and stop all the death and destruction. I just think about all the evil that the Sith have caused and I get so furious. Yet we are told that these feelings are the path to the dark side.
I think destroying that kind of evil would be worth it.
But what comes next? After using all that power, would you decide to impose your own view on the universe? The dark side corrupts your very thoughts. The very thought that I could become as evil as Malak. I just can't fathom it. It just doesn't seem possible. I mean, how could I... No. Wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even be asking you this. The Jedi teachings are clear. Who am I to question them? And even worse, who am I to try and make you question them?
What?
These are dangerous thoughts. The indulgence of a vain mind. Please, forget I ever mentioned this. Let's just return to our mission.
How can I help?
Then I suggest we move...
She's becoming very aware of my alignment, but she's questioning the teachings and then saying that you shouldn't question the teachings, but also, like, probably should totally question things? Apparently Yavin is a DLC, which I never knew existed, but I guess maybe it wasn't ever on Xbox, so it was like added in this port or something? I don't really know the rules. These coordinates point to a small space station orbiting the gas giant Yavin. So like this would explain why there's one location that just isn't a story location apparently. I have no idea what this place has on it or what it's like. Well, I know a little thing about it. Because Yavin 4 is an important location. These cutscenes have trouble loading, apparently. They keep chugging. But, Cloud City? With, like, the Bespin cruisers and all that? Hello. Hello, what have we here? Although I think that was Yavin 4. Which would mean it's the 4th moon of Yavin? But maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. But yeah, this Welcome to Empire Strikes Back. Also, it occurred to me the reason why the sword is called Baka's sword. Well, I don't really necessarily know why it's called Baka's sword, but there's a connection there. Because the most famous Wookiee character in Star Wars is, of course, Chewbacca. So the sword's not named after him because his sword's much older than he is, because he doesn't exist yet. But there's probably a common root to why he's called Chewbacca and why that sword's called Baka. You two just switched places a bit. What the fuck was that? Like right in front of me, they both went zip.
How can I help?
I'd like to talk to you about what you said before, about giving into your emotions.
Yes, I did end that quite abruptly, didn't I? Perhaps a master could have addressed my questions with the proper wisdom, but I never should have brought it up here, not with you. Part of my purpose on this mission was to guide you in the way of the light, to help you avoid the temptations of the dark side. But I fear I've failed in that task. I don't think I'm the proper Jedi to guide you. I am no master. You should have remained with the Council.
Why do you say that?
The fact of the matter is, I have never possessed much skill at controlling myself. With the bond that joins us, it seems I have even less. You have maintained the path of the light side, but it has been in spite of my influence, not because of it. It's increasingly obvious I am unable to guide you properly.
You're doing your best, I'm sure.
That's kind of you to say, but I think the evidence speaks for itself. I think I may have made a very big mistake. I simply hope that you are not the one who pays the price, ultimately, for the fact that I can't help you enough.
Maybe we could help each other.
That's a kinder response than I deserve. And I can see there is wisdom in your words. You continue to be there for me, don't you? Even after I keep pushing you away, you're still around when I need you most. You're like no man I've known before. And you're nothing like what I expected you to be after the Council sent us on this mission together.
We're made for each other, Bastila. You have to see that.
I need time to think about all this. They're not going as I thought they would. We should continue on with our mission for now.
What if I'm like a force parasite and I'm like draining the good from her, and that's why I'm such a perfect paragon of light, and like there's no nuance and no struggle in my choices. It's just straight up good side choices all the time. It's because like I'm actively draining that from her or something and muddying up her options or something. This is a barely coherent idea. It's just a funny thought.